Peace, family. How you all doing? My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Ascendant Astrology, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Virgo full moon happening on Tuesday, which is the same day that Saturn enters Pisces. And so my first kind of reflections of this is that the Pisces energy is going to be a little bit stronger because Pisces is in its own rulership of Neptune, and Jupiter in Aries is highly activated, fiery. And even though there's a lot of initiation and wanting to move and stuff, I still feel like it's supporting Pisces more so just right now in this moment than it is answering to the Virgo full moon. But we'll feel it. It's here. We're gonna be abiding by whatever Virgo is energy's coming up for us and whatever house that's playing out for with you. But I do think that it's gonna feel like, because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac just before it goes back into the first sign. So we can kind of see this as some kind of a fall, falling from grace, going back to our old ways, if you will, or down to the material world. Everybody's gonna have their own kind of examples of how that's playing out. But metaphysically, for me, I see it as a fall back to starting over again in the material. So Pisces to me is heavens, it is the gods, it is the spiritual realm, the subconscious, where you go to get answers. And so a lot of the times Pisces energy is more so relative to being kind of lackadaisical, daydreaming off in another world or visiting other galaxies. And so those things are just as important to take in, have time with, sit with, as all the other, energies that, come up. And so we have the Virgo Pisces axis being activated. So I think it's more about finding balance and really the fight to get out of the spiritual realm. That's how I'm feeling like this is going to be. And so there could be a lot of dreaming of, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, but there's no motivation. Pisces is like, yeah, I'm gonna do it in like 3 more seconds. I'll get to it after this show. Oh, this is my song. Or well, we have a night out on Friday, and I'm gonna go out and have this one night before I start, like, giving, partying or drinking, drugging, celebrating, being out, and living in that kind of mystical realm of I'm really unbothered before we really get ready to step into the Aries energy, which is going to be like, I'm going to stop posting a lot of posts, but I was just seeing this, like, how when Cat Williams is talking about his son having ADHD, it's like as soon as his foot hits the floor, vroom, vroom, vroom. I mean, and I still think it's going to be very busy because, again, the undertow with Venus in Aries, Jupiter in Aries, Chiron in Aries. I think we had 6 planets in total in Aries. And so that energy is there, but I still feel like it's going to be super internal. And so a lot of people might even find themselves being extremely frustrated because in their mind or deep down in the crevices of your soul, you're like, I know it's time for me to get up and go. Like, you're feeling it, right? You're ready. The portals are opening. Pluto's entering Aquarius at the end of the month with the Aries new moon. And everybody's like, yo, I know my purpose. I know who I am. And everybody's going to step into their power. But at the same time, Pisces is like, but wait, can you say it again and just tell me the plan? Just one more time. Just run it by me one more time, because we're comfortable in this energy and it's more relaxed, laid back, internal, doing things behind the scenes, wrapping up, and all of those fun themes there. So, how I was taking this, hold on, let me see something. Okay, look at my notes. So, A lot of this Virgo full moon at 16 degrees is the Cancer degree. And so a lot of Cancerian themes are going to come up, as well as it's the moon, and the moon is ruled by Cancer, even though it's Virgo. And so I'm seeing a lot of cleaning up house, whether that's in here in your body as your home or your actual home, or because it's Virgo, any environment that you spend long periods of time, which would be work or business, right? Cleaning those things out, doing some feng shui and clearing. So Cancer is ruled by the fourth house, and it's ruled by the moon. So people could be really in their feelings right now, having a lot of emotional outbursts with that Aries energy in the undertow. Because again, this could be like a volcano boiling underneath the surface, like all the way up until Aries season when it's going to erupt. Right. And so there could be a lot of explosive emotional responses to things if you're not grounded and you're not standing in your power. Um, and our thinking can be obsessive and continuous, especially with Virgo energy. Virgo, I think, are the ones who beat themselves up the most internally with the negative self-talk. I'm not good enough. I could do better. Did I do this right? We could be forgetting things when you include Pisces season, because again, we're lackadaisical all over the place, and it's gonna be busy. And so, misplacing things, forgetting things, missing calls, forgetting to call back. And in a process of a project or doing some kind of detail-oriented thing, you could forget something. So make sure you go back, recheck, double check, triple check anything that you send out, especially if it's of importance. I really think I'm ambivalent about having personal conversations right now, because I still think with Pisces energy, there's a lack of direction, fogginess, lack of clarity, lies, and not really knowing what to believe, and still a lot of uncertainty going on just because of Pisces energy in general. Again, this is going to be more exclusive to what house this is happening in for you, and also, where, um, you know, um, where you're at in your spiritual journey. So, um, there could be home and family things that you have going on that you have to address, or things with your parents, or specifically your mom, because the moon is ruled by your mother. Um, and family in general. This could be property, housing issues, and it doesn't have to be a problem, right? It could just be something that's coming up that's bringing some kind of shift or change, or light to that area of your home, your chart, sorry. And so, unfortunately, this could mean that a mother or a parent is sick, even a child, because Cancer does rule children, or like a lack of security, not feeling secure. So a lot of people getting ready to go back to work and reacclimate back out into the world after this long stint of Pluto and Capricorn and the whole 2020 thing that kind of changed everything for everybody, and how we see things, how we view things. People could be realizing like, oh, damn, my money's not good. I probably need to go back to work or get more clear on my financial goals with Cancer, because Cancer is not just security, like feeling emotionally secure, but it's also financial security and actual security. So getting like locks and for your home, and password codes and things of that nature can be playing out here with the mutable squares. And I'll talk more about that as we get further down, but just to give you a brief idea, your lineage, your roots, past reflecting. This is a really good time for any past life, anything, to reflect and sit back and be like, what has my last year been? What have I accomplished? What did I say I wanted to accomplish? Have I? Is there some things that I've done that I'm completely done with? Or do I have some things that are left over that I'm like, do I still need them or not? You know, this is like inventory, you know, when you're restocking the shelves and you're putting all the newer stuff in the front, the older stuff in the front, the newer stuff in the back type of deal. You know, yard sales, cleansing, cleaning, getting what is it? What's it about to be? Spring, taking your spring clothes out, getting ready for spring, maybe even potting some flowers and things of that nature with the Virgo earth energy there. Everybody's going to be different. Starting a new job, looking for a job, updating your resume, you know, just taking care of things that will have you prepared to be ready to catapult into the new year once all this Aries energy comes, because it is going to feel like a volcano. We've already had explosions, fires. That's not a coincidence that those things are happening right now with all the Aries undertow, with the Virgo full moon and Pisces energy access being highlighted here. Um, let's see. All full moons reveal something you didn't see. So a lot of information coming up in new different ways, or old things coming up for you to redo in a new way in your Virgo area of life. Um, Health issues can be a thing, unfortunately. I'm almost positive we're going to hear something more about COVID, another strand. Only God knows with a Saturn moving into Pisces. Something's going to come, some kind of really big news is going to come out here um, that could affect specific things that you have set up. So just be prepared. So and then Mercury is going to be in Pisces, which is another reason why I think Pisces energy is going to be a lot stronger than the actual Virgo full moon, because M Mercury moving into Pisces, which was on the second, by the way. I know in my last video I was asking about that, but um I didn't do a video for Mercury and Pisces, by the way, and I'm not going to. But we'll have a mutable T square, which is Mercury, the Sun, the Moon, and Neptune. So a lot going on there. I talked a lot about that mutable square last year, November. So if you want to go back to some old videos to see some more themes that can be coming up there, but I will discuss it briefly here. So Mercury in Pisces is at odds because Virgo's very practical, grounded, and Pisces again is like material versus spiritual, mutable earth, opposing forces. So it could be again a fight between coming down to the real world, being realistic, um, and knowing what you want. I mean, essentially, it's just about stepping into your power, right? And not being caught by news, any blips, bleeps, or you know, just any sound that goes off, you know, making sure that you're paying attention to these signs and not any signs or any distractions, right? There could be a lot of propaganda going on where, you know, they're selling the Oculus now, and so they want to trap you in you know, the 3D so that you're in a virtual reality and not in this reality. No different than what we're actually fighting here. So it's not a mistake that now they got commercials out with the Oculus, like, you know, you're in your own pretend little world. If that is not Pisces energy, my God, I don't know what is. And even if you're not into the Oculus, this could be video games and things like that. And so it's really going to be important to write down, be mindful of the things that you feel like are coming up as distractions in your life, especially if they're directly connected to things that are going to help you make a move, or again, make something tangible and bring it down into the material world. because those are going to be the things that Saturn's going to be asking you, like, do you really need that? I'm going to need you to put structure to that. I'm going to need you to add a system to that. I'm going to need you to be responsible. It's going to be a lot of work, whatever new Saturn, Pisces, things that are coming in for you to do work on. You already know Saturn is a very heavy energy. And so you could be forced to from one way or another. It could be health wise, where you're like, again, you're ready to go out in the world, attack your dreams, start getting things done, and you get sick. That's a message, right? Where it's like, maybe you should stay in and do some more internal work. You didn't really think this through all the way. Write some more stuff down. Sit and meditate and ask your ancestors for more answers, more information. I mean, it could be something small like that. Again, it's really going to make a difference on where this is happening for you in your house, but it's going to be very, very, very important to pay attention, because I think with Saturn being in this sign, it's going to bite hard, even harder than it does in its own sign, because of what these two energies represent. So you really are going to want to make sure you're on your A game with this one. And we got this for the next almost 3 years. So I praise the Lord to people who have natal Saturn and Pisces. My God. But yeah. So Virgo rules the sixth house, and it's ruled by Mercury. Oh, so the mutable squares, it's not Neptune. Well, it could be Neptune. It's Mars and Gemini. That's the other mutable energy that's going to be causing all kinds of trouble. Um, and so because Mercury is in the sign of Gemini, Mercury is heavily activated in that mutable square, which is, I feel like, again, this is going to be like people forgetting what they have to say, not having the words. And so you flight or you act, it's going to activate your flight or fight responses. And however that is for you, in whatever situation it is, it can lead to fighting, arguing, squabbling, battles, um, disagreements, blow ups, you know, and things of that nature happening in the public. So it's mutable, so it's news. It could be politics. You can see people getting into really big um, political or religious type arguments with this activation. I can only imagine. Seriously, like I can only imagine. Um, and so the sixth house rules organization, management, and improving parts of our life. We'll be looking at what's working, what's not working, understanding where new solutions might be necessary, which we'll have support from, by the way, from Saturn moving into Pisces, and Uranus and Taurus will be activating this full moon as well. And I'll talk more about that in just a sec, but just FYI. Um, a new process is needed because new details or information is coming in. You could be doing self-improvement or self-care. You can also see what no longer works for you, what you're ready to shift and change in a new direction to get new results. And Virgo also rules health, your daily health habits and routines, patterns that are perhaps holding you back or keeping you from success, which could fire up the Aries energy from the Scorpio perspective. And I'll be doing a lot more posts about that too. But just remember, if you're not acting and you're just making up excuses, this can also bring up more health issues. You got to release that energy. It needs to come up and out in some way. So health could be really, 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 really crazy right now for people. And they wouldn't even know. They would think, why is this happening to me? Like, I don't usually get sick. It could be a lot of conversations like that. But don't ignore the fact that when you are angry, frustrated, those are things that can lead to health issues like inflammation. um what else does Virgo rule? I think it's your intestines. So making sure you're detoxing your bowel movements, and um, things of that nature. And I think just Aries in general can be any kind of inflammation to the air Virgo area of life. Um, again, whether that's your communication in the job or work area, be careful for like accidents, hurting yourself on the job. Um, um, yeah. Like I feel like I could say so much more about that, but yeah, you guys, the stuff where it goes, right? Make up your own theories and solutions. Some of you, just by me saying some of these keywords, you can be like, oh shit, that's already happening, or I felt that happening, or I knew something like that was coming. Because it's definitely not far from what we've kind of already been bringing in from just this week right now, leading up to the Virgo full moon. These things have definitely been bubbling up. So you could probably see the writing on the wall. Um, uh, yeah, so health, daily routine, habits, patterns, purification, critiquing things, fixing things, working through things, physical challenges, or crisis, ailments, health and healing, cleanliness, clearing something out, perfecting something. People, there's no such thing as perfecting anything. So you get yourself caught up in that whirlwind, I promise you, it's going to become a loop. And that could be another thing where mental health issues, people hearing voices, people talking, hearing, it's not funny. Don't laugh. Um, um, people can feel like they're either talking to themselves actually out loud or feel like they are being spoken to. This could be a lot of religious outbursts and testimonies and things of that nature with Pisces season being activated. This can be mm, I lost my train of thought. Um, mental health. Oh, I know what I was going to say because it's the drug and alcohol, Pisces rules, drug and alcohol, prison, mental prison. Um, I feel like we can hear a lot about the addictive methadone and the people in the streets who are like leaning, they look like they lean and they're calling them zombies. I seen a post, that shit was not funny. It was really actually kind of sad. Like there's a big problem that is not being addressed here when we talk about how hospitals and doctors are able to um give out medication to these people who are clearly fucked up. And I think right now the saying around this population and why that's such a big thing is because when you're on drugs like that, if you take people off, they can die because it's almost as if that drug becomes a life force to them. And so maybe we'll hear with Pluto entering in Aquarius, like new solutions to helping people with, those kind of addictions or in that population in general. Because it's wild. It's crazy. Um, eating healthy, I feel like I said cleaning your house, your room, doing some feng shui, um, medicine, healing modalities, and spiritual practices, and bringing order into any kind of chaos. Because I do think mutable. When I think of how mutable energy works, I think of like a twirl, like a volcano, a volcanic twirl upwards, and then a thing ping pong and like so that could be like how you really feel inside. Like there's a upward, happy, joyful, optimistic energy. Like again, you're ready. That Aries energy is ready. Do you understand what I'm saying? Ready to get out, go out and get something done. And then the mutable energy could be like the ping pong. It's like, oh, but wait, I forgot this. Oh, but wait, there's still this. Oh, but something else comes up in your life and it's like, oh, I got to deal with this. Like distractions. Everything's going to be, I think it's going to get crazy to be quite frank. Um, Now, on a lower vibration, we know Virgo can be quite critical, discerning, nitpicky. Um, it sees the mistakes and problems and flaws. But, make sure that you're looking at this as an opportunity to come up with solutions to fix a problem, because that's also Virgo energy. Again, a lot of running around, busy getting things done. Um, you could realize that you forgot something or something's missing, revisiting your New Year's resolutions and goals and plans. Because of the three planets in Pisces, this could indicate that you want time off, need a break, want to do less work, less management, and the moon is going to highlight what you can't overlook or what you already made a promise to. Some of the ways to get through some of this is meditating, doing any kind of work around the subconscious mind, psychology, tarot, the pendulum, past life regression, Reiki, getting a massage, cord cutting, closing the door and letting things go. And again, the mutable T squares is about a choice. These are what mutable signs are about: adapting, being flexible, and variety. Choices, options, and variety. This could lead to frustration again because it just might not be time to move because we're not quite in Aries and season yet. Around your choices and decisions. But again, any work that you can do to get clearer on those, sitting with those, being confident in what decisions you are going to make when it is time to go is more important than anything. Um, and again, this could have been when Mars was retrograde, which was from, I'm pretty sure it was like the end of September, mid-September, maybe even to be more precise, all the way up until mid-January. And I think it officially comes out of shadow the end of this month. So again, for the new year. So anything that was coming up for you at that time will most definitely resurface in a pretty big way. So pay attention. Don't avoid these things or try to hide things under the carpet because it's fire. Even though it's a mutable T square. Square energy is the energy of fire, and we're getting ready to go in a fire sign energy. And the South Node, we're going to have a Aries new moon, a Scorpio South Node eclipse, and another Aries new moon. Let me tell you something, fam. If you've never been burned before and you don't want to know what that shit feels like, be open and honest about the things that are going to be coming into your life, asking you to fix me, save me, solve the problem, get solutions, come up with answers. Um, you will really, really, really want to be on the upside to this because, again, if it's not severe health issues, it's just arguing with the family. Things could get cut off. Now you're not friends no more. You're burning bridges. Uh, um, you know, I don't have to say anymore. You guys know how this stuff goes. All right. A lot of violence with Aries. Aries on the lower vibration is violence, blood, sharp objects, car accidents, digging stuff up. So trust me, man, if you got some stuff that's like super piss you off, start writing it down, release it, let it go. um do some releasing exercises, go for a walk, do some exercising in general. I mean, like, release that energy or it's going to come up in a way that I promise you're going to regret it. You're going to look back and be like, damn, if I would have just listened when this thing happened the first time, I wouldn't even fucking be in this situation. And it's going to hurt because then you have Chiron and Aries. Chiron is the wounded healer. And even though on the flip side to this is really teaching you, what you're good at to help other people go through in that way, where any spiritual journey is all about to make you better, um because you walked a mile in those shoes type of deal. um you know ugh, just be prepared. is all I'm gonna say, right? Just be prepared. Because it's gonna hurt. I think it's gonna be very, very painful. You know, there are a lot of problems coming up, not just from today, yesterday, a month ago, 6 months ago. Pluto is moving into Aquarius. That's a whole new sign, and Pluto is like a 18 to 20 year transit, and it just spent 18 years in Capricorn. You could be having shit come up from 18 years ago. It hasn't been in your peripheral for years now. You might have even, subconsciously or Scorpio dug it deep in your conditioning where it's like, yeah, it happened. I acknowledge it. It's not like I don't talk about it, but did you heal from it? If another situation like that was to come up, would it piss you off? And so you have to pay attention to the cues that are coming up and how you're reacting, responding, and feeling about them. Because Scorpio's a water sign, Pisces is a water sign, and anytime you get moon in those signs, it's always a lot stronger because, your moon is all of those emotions and feelings. So yeah, man, just, I'm not trying to like freak anybody out. If you want my honest opinion, people who have been doing their work, we've had plenty of time to do it. I would imagine that people at this point, even if you are experiencing some kind of drama, it's been happening. And so it's very subtle, the frustration, the anger, the I'm tired, of the bullshit, like not even having the energy to give to it, like I'm done. This is like I'm done energy. So because it's the end of the year, Pluto's going into a new sign, Saturn's going into a new sign, and Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So there's a lot more endings as opposed to this being something brand new or a shock or a surprise or something like that. You should probably be receiving more blessings, more support, more solutions are coming up. And it's just like, okay, how can I get that done? Where I got to go? Again, that whole back to that mutable energy where there's a lot of running around, finalizing paperwork and decisions and, getting ready to, push fast forward into the future. Um, so I will say that, but again, it really depends on where you're at in your spiritual journey and how much healing you have already done and how it's going to come up. So I'm just saying, be mindful. Um, no, 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 no. We have to just admit that it might not be what we want, unfortunately, whenever we're talking about Pisces energy, even Taurus energy, even though Taurus isn't quite activated just yet, but it is, all this is leading up to eclipse season, right? And so all these issues done, undone, unsolved, or however, then you walking into eclipse season. Yeah, that's like spirit stepping in. So say you make a decision and you thought you was doing your healing work and you're like, you know what? I've come to this point and I'm tired of this. This is what I'm gonna do. And it's a specific job that maybe you were like just on the brink of getting about to finish the paperwork. And because it's eclipse season, it could be like something comes up out of the blue and it's like, yeah, no, that's spirit's gonna be like, that's not what I have for you. You read the wrong signs. And it's not like, a good or a bad thing. It's just about acknowledging that. Pivot. Don't complain. Don't be in your victim low vibrational Pisces energy. Woe is me. How come I didn't see that coming? Don't start blaming yourself and none of that. This is not the time for that. Pivot. Pivot. Okay? Be flexible. Be open. Say, okay, I see you, spirit. I got you. Thank you for the lesson. I know that, this is going to be better for me. It is what it is, right? Um, because Virgo wants you to take care of what you've already agreed to. Um, and you just might not know right now because that's just Pisces energy. Again, is to be in and I don't really know what I want. How about I just keep doing what I'm doing because it feels good? So I think it's going to be hard to maybe perhaps see what's really meant for you. Um, so yeah, know what not to choose, what direction to go in. This is a great time to lean on your intuition. Um, Things could feel too much to handle. And once those mutable squares mid-month, the mutable squares of feisty, shisty people, just period. This can be somebody who's actually been sitting thinking about how many ways they can cut you. And I'm not talking about um not for real. I mean like really cut you. This is Mars and Scorpio energy here. These people, Mars, whenever you're talking about Mars, you're talking about Scorpio. And Scorpio got the stinger. They like to sting you in the back. So if you've done something to somebody, you've outgrown them, and they're seeing you shining, glowing, your glow up, you're receiving your spiritual blessings, and you ain't including them, man, listen, um, they're there. They're there. We can also see a lot of people waking up. I see this as hysteria. Again, people saying like, I heard somebody talking to me, or a testimony, or they're doing the Harlem Shake. I'm fucking around. I shouldn't be laughing at that because it's gonna look funny on the outside, but what that person feeling on the inside is gonna be very fucking real to them. Okay. These could be hidden subconscious angers, not knowing why you're angry, and it just comes up out of nowhere like projectile, like real life volcano, folks. But on the upswing, it's creative projects, having a clear vision, using your intuition, having dreams that are showing you the way to go, knowing that your following sign symbols and your ancestors are watching over you. Any service oriented jobs can be hiring for sure. Um, or this is like service versus sacrifice because that's the access that's being highlighted. So again, if people have to go back to work and again they're like, fuck that fucking job. People do not want to go back to work. And so a lot of the attitudes that could be coming with this, which by the way, I did horoscopes for all 12 signs for this Virgo full moon. I thought it was very necessary because there could be a lot more opportunities and this energy. But and just thinking about that is like, just remember if you have a plan this time, you learned something from 2020 going back into the workforce, right? I can only imagine because it was Saturn energy. It was about having a plan, a structure, and a system, something that you abide by, that you do not deviate from. So that means having some investments, having automatic payments going into there, having some savings, whatever it is, you are building something, right? One day at a time through your daily habits and patterns, right? And so you have to have a system set up that's going to look like I'm going to give myself 2 years to work at this job, save up some money, invest, make some more money, maybe several streams of income. However, that is, everybody's going to be in different places. Maybe it's buy a car, get a house, buy some land, start a business. It's going to be different, right? Maybe it's training to get more money in a specific career, or um, how you say, if it's not a raise, um, you're getting the next step, like moving up to management or something like that. But know that it's going to come with a lot more responsibilities. Any opportunity from a Virgo full moon with Saturn and Pisces moving into the opposite axis, oh yeah, it's going to be busy. It's going to be very busy. Um, so yeah, just knowing that that's the sacrifice you're going to have to make to get to off what we call the corporate plantation. um Helping others, extreme weather. Another thing that came up around this was the lab leaks. So they are now saying that suppose, and I think I talked about this in my last video, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this, but these could be some of the topics coming up out in the world. More about lab leaks from, they're trying to say COVID leaked from a lab experiment being done, blah, 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 blah. I don't believe anything that they say, so it doesn't really matter. But it's just interesting that it would be something like that, whereas this is kind of ruled under Pisces energy. We can hear more fires, more things blowing up. Um, and what I would like to see is more doctors and people in these fields not being silenced and being able to speak the truth and the facts about, all these bigger things. Like I think I mentioned in another video that people have lawsuits out about this, and a lot of it's not being televised, right? And so a lot of people could have some cases that they can be doing too, but of course they're not going to show that. And they're winning too, by the by. I know a few places out here in Boston, hospitals specifically, who have lawsuits out on pharmaceuticals for just the lack of terrible communication and expectations and the COVID vaccine and everything, and they're winning. So hearing the truth from doctors, lawyers, educators should not be silenced, but we'll see. Um, This is very open, optimistic, especially when it comes to romance. Even all the crazy stuff that I mentioned, believe it or not, Pisces energy is very romantic. But it could cause confusion and frustration right now because, again, a lot of people have a lot of things that are coming up to be dealt with. And so there's so much going on. You might get like 5 minutes of romance, and it's not going to be as pretty, especially with Saturn moving here. Saturn's all stoic and serious, and it's like, yeah, kiss goodbye, I love you, but I got to go to work. I got to pay these bills. Somebody's got to pay these bills, right? A lot of that going on could put a damper on romance for the next 2.5 years. But remembering sacrifice when you get out of whatever goal you have and you complete that, you have all the time for romance in the world and perhaps not another distraction again. So, or change the way you're looking at the problems coming up in your life. Um, um, Mm, I did say that people are going to be in like hysterics, just asking for help, wanting support instead of, how I felt about this when I was writing it down was, like how sometimes people, especially coaches and people of service specifically, especially with Saturn moving into Pisces, this could be spiritual outlets and businesses and things of that, and practices and ashrams and churches and all the spiritual places that you can think of. How I'm viewing this is that people who kind of might be in the lower expressions of this energy is just like, all I want is somebody to help me, and I can't even get that. Or, I have to have money, or, there's always some type of barrier because that's what propaganda really is, to be honest, unfortunately. So this could include inflation or them talking about inflation, even a lot of jobs saying that they're hiring, but they're really not. So you might get a job, but then again, it might end in 3 months because nobody's really got the money to be out there buying stuff. And when you're not buying, the economy starts to, descend financially. And it puts, us in a bad place when it comes to helping each other. But I think that it could get bad. I think it might get worse. But ultimately the lesson here is to learn less is more, and that America especially is a little bit too spoiled. And so how could we live off of a lack of materialism and more of the earth, being more healthy, bartering with one another, not going to another store, you know helping black owned businesses or just smaller businesses in general. Stop paying to the people of these other companies who already have been established, and they're not feeding into the economy, or they're being greedy and keeping all the money to themselves. We could hear a lot of those themes coming up and out, and how much problems that they're causing. Oh, yay. Um, which I think could lead to a one government, or a request of a one government. And with Pisces energy, the government's always trying to act like you're God. They want to take stuff away from you and then swoop in and come in and be like God and be like, well, we're here to save you. We have the solution. Own nothing, but have access to everything. That's the new digital era. So be careful for that one government. I think it sounds good and it's a really awesome fucking idea when you understand what it is, but it's also coming from our oppressors. So do we really trust and believe that that's what this is really all about? And so freedom and things like uh a sovereignty and people owning their own rights to things, making their own things, especially because Taurus has been in the North Node and it's ending the end of this year, but then Jupiter is going to come in and expand that. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a shit show for sure. But for the bestest reasons, it's really helping us get out of something that we needed to get out for a very, very, very long time. And so, I whatever, it's gonna come with frustration, blow ups, and meaningful solutions. Whatever. People could be having a bad trip, or the Looney Tunes come out, cancel culture. Oh my God, cancel culture, I think is gonna flame with Saturn moving into Pisces. Oh, you're not a real spiritualist. You people aren't really woke. First of all, who cares? Okay, help the people who you can reach, come up with solutions, and stop complaining, because that's the divide and conquer. That's the same thing they did back in the 60s. We're almost reliving that same transition. Um, but we're going, instead of doing, I think back then it was all the engineering and all the like big um um how do you say it, I want to say warehouse jobs shut down, the busing companies shut down. But this time it's going to be the digital era, right? So really, family, I think we got to get out of this idea that just because somebody's not doing well, that means they're unworthy of receiving help, and things of that nature. Now, obviously, you're only supposed to take on what you can handle, and you do have to have boundaries, and there's a whole process of respect and give and take and holding people accountable and so on and so forth, that people are just going to have to abide by. But that's what Saturn is all about. That's why you have business. That's where I think we're going to start to learn more about why relationships are considered a business, family is considered a business, kind of getting back to those old um, family dynamics and beliefs, and running our lives in those kind of ways, as a way to say this is how things are done. And if somebody doesn't follow through, you kindly gonna have to, let them go. Um, so I mean, there's a lot going on here. Y'all already know I could talk about this on and on and on and on and on. I'm just gonna go over a few themes I have a whole bunch more. Um, Mercury and Pisces and Uranus. I think I will wait, because those are gonna come up some more. So I'll wait. I'm not gonna overdo this video. And what I'll do is I'll either make smaller videos specifically about those themes, or I'll post small posts about them on my IG so that you can see the different solutions and things, because it's going to be very important. But we have all next week, so I'm pretty sure I'll have a lot more time to talk about those topics on a bigger scale. So, as usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.